that crippling feeling of being a fraud is something that almost everybody experiences. And I'm not saying that to make it sound like it's not a big deal. I'm saying it to let you know that you're not the only one, and you're not alone, and you're not weird for feeling this way. It's actually very normal because we live in a society that expects us to be the perfect versions of ourselves 24/7 in all aspects of our lives: success, beauty, productivity, anything you do. There's always a way in which anything you do can be compared to how someone else is doing it, and you will most likely find someone that's doing it better than you. Honestly, the comparison game has become something so brutal, and we all seem to do this same mistake, which is comparing our behind the scenes and our everyday moments and failures and hardships to other people's simply highlight reels. And then it's not only the comparison, but also this inner critic that we have that's just constantly telling you all the ways in which you're not enough, and all the ways in which you could fail, and all the ways in which other people are doing it better than you, and maybe even people around you feed those voices and keep reminding you of it. And it feels like imposter syndrome is something that no one can escape from. And you all know this is not a therapy. This is just like a friendly conversation. So I'm just sharing with you what has worked for me and what, as a psychology student, I've seen that has worked for other people as well. But be mindful that everybody's different, and what matters the most is that you understand that nobody is perfect. And even if you wanted to be perfect, it would be nice if you ask yourself why. Why do you feel like you have to be perfect? Is that what you really want, or is that what you think you should be looking forward to achieve in life? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how hard life gets and how much you want certain things, you're gonna die anyways. And I know that might sound scary, but I feel like it's actually such a comforting thought. It's just like if reality slapped you in the face, doesn't matter what you do, your life is passing by. Your life is still passing by. So does it really matter that much? Is it really worth it to put yourself through all of this discomfort? Or are there other things that maybe you should be also paying attention to? Overall, just remember that life is not that serious. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. You always are. I think one of the best ways of approaching imposter syndrome, or the feeling that you're not enough, is realizing that at its core, it relies fear. The simple fear of you not being enough, of you not being good enough to achieve the things that you want, or that there's always someone that's going to do it better. So even if you are currently the best, or if you're currently excelling, you live with this fear that it will end. That there will be someone that's just going to do it better, and your life's going to be over. So it's important that we realize that at the very core of it, it's fear. So what is one supposed to do with fear? I think this is an advice that almost everyone gives, and it's the best way to get over a fear is to face it. And it's true. But the thing about imposter syndrome, or the fear of not being good enough, or the fear of having stuff taken away from you, is that it's not that much of a specific fear. So it can be hard to know how to face it. If you're not scared of something quote unquote real, like spiders or heights or water, you're scared of possibilities. You're scared of what ifs. You're scared of things that don't really exist but could, and that not only doesn't exist, but also it might feel like it's part of who you are. So that makes it even harder because it's not external from you. You feel like it's a you problem, like it's a you thing. So how are you supposed to face a fear that feels like it's part of you and most likely affects almost all areas of your life? Well, I think the best way to do it is to simply accept it. But let me break it down for you. Fear, it's a natural part of life. It's actually a survival mechanism. If we didn't feel fear, then we wouldn't be aware of threats and we wouldn't survive, just because we simply wouldn't know when we are supposed to react and take care of ourselves and of other people. So fear, it's an intrinsic part of life, and doesn't matter how hard you try, you're probably not going to escape it, because at this point in life, you probably already know that's not how it works. It's not that easy. Even if you try to escape or avoid it, it always comes back. So that can be the solution if it doesn't work. So when I say accept it, I mean it as a literal exercise of acceptance. So what you're going to do is that you're simply going to sit down and you're going to give yourself the chance to think about it. You're going to stop avoiding it. You're going to stop trying to find a way to escape it or solve it. You're simply going to sit down and let it exist. And you're going to do this because we have labeled fear as something bad, when in reality, it's just your body trying to protect you and to make sure you survive. So when you feel fear about not being good enough or things going wrong, it's just your body perceiving failure as a threat and creating a reaction so you are not exposed to that threat. Your body is just protecting you. Even if fear feels bad, even if anxiety feels bad, even if you don't want to feel it, even if you just want it to be over, it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just your body trying to protect you, actually. That's its job. So when you sit down and stop trying to avoid it and run away from it, you start being in control. So what you're gonna do when you're sitting down is that you're going to start thinking about this fear as a mechanism of protection instead of something you should be running away from. And in that moment, you start owning it. You start owning your fear instead of letting it own you. And I know it's not that easy. I know maybe you have to try this a couple of times before it works. Maybe as you do it, it feels fake, but just trust the process, okay? Trust the process. If you're here, then it's probably because avoiding it didn't work for you. So just trust the process. So once you sit down and once you accept fear as a mechanism of protection, you are literally going to decide and talk to yourself and tell yourself that this is not something that you want to be afraid of. I know it sounds silly, but just trust it. Even if it sounds silly, even if saying it doesn't change anything immediately, it's going to be a very grounding experience. Probably for the first time in your life, you're going to feel like you actually have a choice to not feel this way, and that actually gives you a sense of being in control and a sense of calmness. So basically what you're gonna do is that you're gonna sit down and you're gonna talk to your fear. You're gonna talk to yourself, you're gonna talk to your body, and you're gonna say, hey, thank you for protecting me, but this particular thing is not scary anymore. I'm not scared of it anymore. I'm in control. I got this. And I know it sounds silly, but if you want to face a fear and overcome it, doesn't matter which fear it is, you need to face your inner world first. In order to be in control of external situations, you need to be more in control of your body and on how you decide to react to certain situations. Babe, listen, nobody is going to know you're doing these things or what's inside your head. Literally only you know. There's no reason to be afraid of facing yourself and sitting down with your fears. It's just you. That's it. And I know it might sound intimidating because it's something you've been probably running away from, but literally only you know about this. And I know this whole thing might sound ridiculous, and it might actually feel ridiculous if you try it, but with time, just the fact that you're able to sit down with yourself and you're able to talk about your fears and make a decision about them, it's just gonna help so much. It's gonna help you so much in being in control, being able to decide what's dangerous and what's not. It's actually super powerful. Is that going to change the outcomes? No, but you are already afraid, and that's not going to change the outcomes either. So the choice is yours. Do you want to live with fear and still not be able to control some of the outcomes?